I want to see this guy's film. You come there, you convince everybody. Hey, you're sitting in the theater watching a movie. Somebody's ordered pani puri. It's coming in the middle of the food. Somebody's being served. It's all stupidity in terms of my opinion. Okay, you can't have done. You want to have dinner, lunch? Go to the restaurant. Don't go to the movie. Don't and so people have made that into a crazy thing. So despite all this distraction, just when you are getting used to the film, if the film is irritating you, if the actor is pompous and the director has not, done his job, or it's just a great combination and a on-table profit film, they are irritated. Earlier on, used to for Saki or Alai Paide, I used to wait for 1 week for the reviews to come out.
Hello, Mr. Madhavan.
Hello.
I'm Dheeraj from M9 News.
Nice to meet you, Dheeraj. How are you?
Same here, sir. So it was both an exciting and hesitation factor for me to meet you.
Why is that?
The excitement is to meet you. The hesitation is to interview you because you are such an amazing orator.
You're very kind. Thank
because
you.
I've been listening to your interviews and speeches, and you're such.
Now you put a pressure on me now for this interview.
No, sir.
You transferred your pressure onto me.
Yeah. So, sir, we've been talking about Mr. GDN and his life and all. So, what is the perspective of the story, sir? Because you are also a screenplay writer for the film.
There are people like him who need to be brought out to the forefront, because the intrinsic desire of somebody like this was to do good to the people around him. He is from the British era. He was an inventor. He was an innovator. He was a startup guy. He was a social reformer, educational reformer, so many things. But because he was against the British, because he didn't believe that the British were doing right by the country, they completely buried his story. There is a line in our film, where it says, if the history of the hunt is written by the lion instead of the human beings, the definition of bravery will change.
Okay.
Because nobody can go on a direct head-to-head confrontation with the lion. We always hide and fight. So it is the same thing with the Britishers. They changed the narrative about Mr. G.D. Naidu, like they did about a lot of people. And so what they wrote about history became facts for us. But if you really go into these stories, you look into his achievements, contributions, if you look at his museum that is there today, it is baffling what a man is capable of doing. But the thing about him is he never bowed and he never lost to the Britishers. The tagline of our film says, literally feared by the Britishers but forgotten by his countrymen. So that is the crux of the story, the reason why we are telling.
But when it comes to the film narration, what would be that narration perspective?
The perspective is that of a...
No, not the story, the narrative of the film. So is it going to be a perspective that G.D. Naidu himself explained the story to the audience? Or
No, it's a third point perspective. So it's a historian's perspective of the film. Okay. And the whole fight in the story is about how we want to include his chapter in the Tamil syllabus, which was not there.
Okay.
That itself is a fight, And why should you know something about a guy like him? Is simply because he did then what people are trying to do now. And what happens when, as an innovator and an inventor and as a startup, you don't take care of the small things. And sometimes that business or that idea is stolen by somebody, taken away from you, and you don't get the benefit of becoming the one who came up with the idea in the first place. Facebook is a great example.
Yeah.
So how do you protect your business? How do you protect your ideas? How do you take it forward? That's the story. And the British and Indians later on managed to keep him down.
Okay.
So that's what I thought was interesting about his story.
Cool. And sir, like we have been watching your performances, specifically in the biopics, right from Guru to here. So you always get this. You don't try to imitate any specific person, even if you're doing a biopic, even if it is Nambi Narayan, you never try to imitate him on screen. So will that be the same for GDN as well?
Yeah, it's very important to humanize them, to find out what makes them human. My job as an actor, or my talent as an actor, is to see what that human quality about him is, bring that, but still do it in my way. Only then is it believable. There is a difference between miming and acting.
Exactly.
Or mimicry and performance. So I don't want to do either miming or mimicry. My idea is to make the character real.
That's what makes a performance also better, because whenever we see the performance of Mammootty, because he played a character of YSR, the late incumbent AP CM, he never tried to mimic or imitate Mr. YSR. He was being himself on the screen,
correct,
portraying YSR.
Correct.
So that's what make a film special, and that's what make your performance also special for GDN as well.
Thank
hopefully.
you. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So being these perspectives, living these, what are the boundaries were built throughout the story, you may not fit each and everything of GDR into the film of 3 hour in a
Impossible.
3 hour film.
Yeah.
So what are the key aspects you are touching in the film?
So it's a 2 hour, 20-minute film.
Hmm.
And the key aspects we're touching is just one aspect of his life. This is unknown. So whatever people have read and known about him, which is there in the history books, is not something we have touched. It's only 10% of the story.
Okay.
The rest of the
Because
90...
that's nothing less than a social textbook.
Correct. But this is about how he fought to keep his dignity. When we say feared by the British, we wanted to show you why they feared him. He was not somebody who would lose his temper, or his demeanor was not of being an angry freedom fighter. But the things he did was so brave and so smart and so shrewd that they could never get the better of him. And so I thought that was a very interesting angle to touch.
Yeah.
They put unfair taxes on him and branded him a traitor for not paying taxes. But knowing the Britishers, they could have done anything to kill him. No? They don't need a reason to wipe him off.
Obviously.
They were not following any particular lead. What is about him that they couldn't touch is what was awesome about this story.
Yeah, okay. And also, there have been many comparisons about the films, uh, the history of the film, because the timelines, there might be a changes in the timelines as well, and you will take a cinematic liberties as well
Yes.
during this. So, how authentic it will be?
It's not a documentary.
Mhm.
So we're not going to be giving you a boring documentation level of that filmmaking. When we make a biopic, we have to combine 70 years or 60 years or 40 years. But we have to take only one angle of that story and try to encompass it in 2 hours, 20 minutes, right? So there will be a compromise in terms of combining space and time and characters. But that apart, we don't move away from the true core of the story. I can't take a happy guy and make him into a sad guy, or a bad guy and make him into a good boy just because I'm trying to tell a story. We have not done those kind of things. Factually, everything remains the same.
Okay, okay. But with the factual information, with whatever happened, whatever actually happened, if you're showcasing that, what would be that cinematic high for the audience?
That you have to go to the see and see it in a cinema. What I might think is a high is not how the audience might react. I never thought that when I did the film called Alai Paire, the dialogue that is staying with me for the last 26 years would be a highlight. It was just a line that I was saying on the train and looking at a girl. I have no way of knowing what the cinematic high will be. I've learned that over 30 years that don't take yourself too seriously. Let the audience decide what is going to be the highlight.
Okay, okay. Because since the past 26 years or 30 years, the way audience watching the films or audience consume the content has been changed. There is an evolution in that.
Without a doubt.
So
Without a doubt.
That doesn't change the perspective of storytelling.
I think the honesty of storytelling is all that will stand by you. And in my conditioning of how the story should be told over the last 26 years has changed as the audience have changed. So the pace of storytelling, the involvement of the detailing. Like I was just saying, if you look at Dhurandhar, we spent a lot of money and time, Aditya Dhar, hats off to him, in trying to do peak detailing. It was not even a thing before Dhurandhar released. Nobody would have noticed it. Ideally, what top actors and stars will say, hey, nobody's going to notice all this. I'm standing in front, let's worry about that. But people notice it. People saw it. They really and appreciated it.
Yeah.
So that perspective nobody thought of earlier. We have to keep all that in mind. So as they notice good things and admire it, they will also notice the flaws, which we have to be careful about.
Yeah, specifically for Dhurandhar, even people are noticing the way you puff out the cigarette as well.
Yeah.
Like it's like same as the so and so person. And all.
Yeah.
So it was like interesting for me as well. Okay, people are even observing these kind of minute details as well in a performance or in a sequence or in the whole background as well. So that made me more. That's making the audience and also the makers more conscious about making the films or building the stories as well.
That is true, and there's no forgiving. Nobody cares whether it's your first film or last, 30th film. Nobody cares whether your last film, 10 films have been a blockbuster or not. They don't care. They have paid good money to come to the theater. They are extremely well informed, very smart, very shrewd, very astute. And if you're not matching up to their level, then they're going to wallop you.
Okay. But what's your take on audience being so brutal, sir?
Now they have a voice. It's not that they've turned brutal. Earlier on, when they didn't like a film, they just went back saying flop. But now you take away somebody's 3 hours, and because of your pompous nature, you bring there and show them things that, they have invested 3 hours of their time. They have brought the car, their family is irritated, the wife is saying, let's see another film, the child is saying, let's see Spider-Man, but you're saying, no, I want to see this guy's film. You come there, you're convinced everybody, you're watching sitting in the theater, watching a movie, somebody's ordered pani puri, it's coming in the middle of the food, somebody's being served, it's all stupidity in terms of in my opinion, okay? You can't have lunch, you want to have dinner, lunch, go to the restaurant, don't go to the movie. Don't, and so people have made that into a crazy thing. So despite all this distraction, just when you're getting used to the film, if the film is irritating you, if the actor is pompous and the director has not, done his job, or it's just a great combination and a on-table profit film, they are irritated. Earlier on, used to for Saki or Alai Paide, I used to wait for 1 week for the reviews to come out. Friday the review will come out. Oh, until then the outcome is already clear whether people are seeing the movie or not. Now even before the film is released, people are like, Addi, they're so angry. They're like, yeah, one time, the people have passed judgment on the trailer or teaser itself.
True.
And they're venting out their anger. And so it's absolutely correct. See, acting and sports are the only two professions where your report card is written by the least common man. His achievement in life is only that he can afford to buy your ticket and he's seen your film, and therefore he becomes your master. So you have to salute to what he says. This kind of discrimination doesn't happen to a scientist or an industrialist or anybody, because their life and circle is very small. They might get brickbats or bouquets in their circle.
But private as well.
It is private, and the family doesn't know. Here, the family also bears the price for your stupidity.
True.
So you cannot help it. No, that's the beauty of this industry.
Super, but thanks to you that you are aligning with the audience mindset.
It's my job, man.
Yeah.
I mean, how can
it's very rare to see or listen to it, sir.
But it's true. How can I accept thank you for it when I'm doing what is required for me to survive? You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah. Seriously, brother, if my film doesn't do well, no, my family is feeling embarrassed to going around like, hey, it's true. Because everybody like, hey, don't worry, he's a good actor, other will work. Nobody wants that sympathy also.
True. Films now doesn't work on sympathy or empathy.
Yeah.
True. Sir, the kind of performances you have been doing since the last 30 years are kind of. So some performances you will be carrying it for years forward. Some you will have to leave it behind. So what are those kind of performances you've been traveling with?
None of them.
Nothing.
Once the film is done, released, and the outcome is clear, I don't even have the guts to see it again. And it's only when you talk about it that I will. But if I even chance to see it by mistake on the plane or somebody else is watching it, I will look at it for some time and I'm like, it's somehow like not part of my life. Almost like disassociation. I don't know why.
As well.
Every film.
Okay.
Every film. I don't know why it is like that. I don't know why it is like that.
Okay, so is it a habitual detachment?
I think I cringe. I look at it and say I could have done better. And so watching it again makes me feel bad about who I am. So I don't watch it actually.
Okay.
I think I should bravely look at it, because it tells me what I could have done better. But it also tells me that I messed up, which is why I don't want to look at it.
Okay. So something personal I wanted to ask you. You're someone who's grown up with both working parents, because your father used to work in Tata and mother used to work in a bank. So how was that growing up with both working parents? Because you're a bright student, you're an NCC cadet, you're a living example of how to be a man.
All right, you're too kind. No, I have my challenges here. But the thing is, I was a product of double income family. Double income, double children. So I remember distinctly. It's a very interesting question you're asking. In my area, when I was born in Jamshedpur, and being an engineer or a doctor was the be-all and end-all. And if you were not, and I was not very good in academics. Like, people think I'm an engineer. I'm not even an engineer. I'm a BSc electronics guy, barely passing marks. But I was engineeringly inclined from the very beginning. Okay, so I remember very clearly, everybody in my society thought, because both my parents were working and nobody was taking care of me doing my homework, and both my sister and I used to be wildly playing on the ground, that this two people are done for. They're never going to become a success in their life. Okay. My parents were constantly made to feel guilty that they're both working and neglecting the children. My mother was very strong, man, is still very strong. And my dad, who doesn't give a rat's ass what people say. But both of them were made to feel guilty that, oh, how can you give importance to work over children. But I think it's because both of them working that I got the experiences that I did. We were able to afford my trips as an exchange student and scholarships to other countries that transformed me and made me who I am compared to the rest of the people in my society. So I'm very glad that both my parents were working and they both set a right example for me. They always believed that honesty, straightforwardness, and being right by your society and a country will get you across to a happy place in life. They have lived by it all their lives. And so I'm trying to follow it and I have never regretted that.
Yeah, okay. No, sir, but the current state of these things, uh, as your parents are also being insulted or kind of, the same is going with the current generation as well. So that's something even people, the parents feel guilty as well. At the same time, they can't do anything because that's their right to
Now it's a
earn as well.
requirement.
Yeah, it is.
Earlier on, it was a choice. But please don't feel guilty. I think you should do what is right. People worry a little too much about a transient society and their opinion. Okay, you change from one house to the other, that whole ecosystem is gone, and you keep wondering why the hell are you giving so much importance to it. Do what you think is right. It's extremely important to believe and do what you think is right, and that's all that matters. Even if you're wrong, at least you have a tangible example in front of you of what not to do. Either of that.
Experience is the best
Yeah,
teacher.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so being a this coach, the personality development coach, did it affected your career choices as well?
No, not really. No, I mean, my career is ever transforming at all times. If I know now what I knew then, or if I knew then what I know now, my choices of films might be different. It is because I didn't care much and it went instinctively that I was probably reached here. So I don't think that being my earlier profession, be it experiences with either NCC or a personality coach, is determining my choice of characters, but it does determine how I play them. So being involved with NCC, it makes it easy for me to play a defense-related person. Being a coach, it helps me play a teacher better. Those kind of things.
Okay, and also you were mentioning in your earlier interviews that the right now situation, even my successful films like Minnale or Tanu Vetsmanu might not work now. So do you still stand by that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was period correct and period appropriate, so it worked. But I don't think the pacing and all that will work at this point of time.
Okay. What about Rang De Basanti, sir?
I think suddenly everybody says, "Oh, it's hyper nationalistic." I don't know what that word actually means and why it is wrong to be hyper nationalistic. But hey, it is true. It is also based on true incidences. Exactly. So I don't think those films will ever lose their charm.
Yeah, it's not about just losing the charm. It's about creating discussions as well.
Yeah.
In and around the society. Because Rang De Basanti is one film that made an impact in the youth mindset, which very rarely happens.
Absolutely, not just that. It changed. It brought in the fourth wall. I mean, the media got their freedom because they started independently reporting, which is what we showed in the film.
Exactly.
The Candle March was something that was replicated. So that is the power of cinema, man. And I think, but now that it has already happened, it looked like we are sponging off what happened earlier. We didn't preempt it.
True. But would that be possible to recreate it now, sir, within the current scenario?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely. I think there are people still who believe in the goodness of the nation, who believe that it is important to be patriotic, who believe. So there's a whole group that is making you feel guilty about being nationalistic. I think if you look at Japan, there's no more nationalistic country in the world than them. They're not hyper about it in terms of overtly saying it, but they believe, and that gives them the pride. If you don't have the pride of being part of a nation or what it stands for, there is no way you're going to protect it, and there is no way that growth is going to happen. So it's extremely important that we do that. And so, in my opinion, it will be as effective now as it was earlier on.
Yeah, more than effective. I don't think that it will create that ripple effect with the current scenarios.
No. Right now everybody is doing what it takes to make money. Okay, so if there is one opinion, the other opinion becomes even more way to get clicks. So in clickbait era, everything will happen. So you cannot worry about
that collective opinion might be an instance for you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sir, how do you look at the scenario of the film industry right now?
It's a very exciting and a challenging time because everybody has to question the basic intelligence of storytelling and our ability to tell stories. If a Spider-Man is able to get 60 crores on the first day in India, then what are we doing wrong? Where is that audience when we release our own movies? So it's not just the brand or the VFX or stuff like that. There is some relatability that
Exactly.
they're having they don't have in our films. So it's time to reinvent.
Yeah, it's time to bring our urban legends as well
Yeah,
to life.
yeah.
So hopefully those films should also work along with these biopics.
I look forward to it, man. Yeah.
So thank you, sir. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for your time.
Dheeraj.
Glad.
All the very best. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, sir.